Hi everyone, my name is Terri and welcome to Friday Fact Day, where I get to tell you about my work in fitness, feminism, and philosophy. And today's fact is sweat is good, actually. So, one of the things I hear quite often as a fitness instructor, especially from women, is I sweat too much. I'm so out of shape that I sweat prolifically, or because I'm so fat, I sweat so much and I sweat excessively. So, let me break that down for you right now. First things first, sweating in great quantities is not actually a sign of being unfit. It's actually the opposite. The human body is somewhere around 98 degrees in Fahrenheit. It's around 37 in Celsius, and really can only tolerate being a few degrees either side of that. So when you start to warm up, by exercising and you're generating heat in the body has to have another response to cool itself down. So sweat comes out on the skin, it evaporates into the air, it cools the skin and cools the body. Otherwise, you're going to end up with heat stroke, right? So sweating is a really good thing. And sweating a lot means your body is efficient at cooling you down, not that you're out of shape. Now, why do some people, especially those who have large body mass, feel they sweat a lot? That's because you've got a larger body, you've got more skin surface, and you've got more sweat to come out on your skin. You've got more skin. So what happens there is people get this impression that because they have excess body fat that they are sweating more than anybody else. But the thing is, it has to do with the surface. So anybody of a comparable size, whether their body composition is a lot of muscle, a lot of fat, half and half, whatever, is still going to produce a lot of sweat. So the more skin you have, the more skin surface you have, the more sweat you're going to produce. So there is some bit of truth in a sense that having a lot of excess body fat makes you sweat more, but having a lot of excess muscle makes you sweat more too. It's just how much skin surface you have. So the final thing that I want to myth bust about exercise and sweat is the idea, and it's still out there, that it is not ladylike to sweat. We need that idea to disappear and go the way of the dinosaur. We need it to become extinct because it's not doing any of us any favors. So ladies, get sweaty. It's good for you. So where does that come from? I have heard this many, many, many times in my career as a trainer, and it came up in my survey data for my academic work when I surveyed other trainers about the things they hear, and they said the same thing. Women come to us and say, I want a workout that doesn't make me sweat a lot. I don't like the feeling of it. I don't like the look of it, whatever. It's not as common as it was when I first started training, but it's still really out there. Where does this come from? So like anything on my channel, there's an agnotological background to this. And in this case, it's one of the good historical ones. If you look back historically at early advertisements for hygienic products, early deodorants, body sprays, perfumes, all of intimate sprays, all of those kinds of things, they really stressed that women should be dainty and fresh at all times. Okay. And the way they expressed these things was, be dainty and fresh for your husband at all times. The other thing is that going back even a little bit further, historically, there was a lot of ideas around keeping women very physically still, very constrained. And again, going back to a previous video for a moment, you may remember I spoke about bicycle face, which was used to keep women from being too active by riding bicycles, and it discouraged bicycle use. So that's just one example, but there was others, things like clothing regulations, things like access to physical spaces, outdoor spaces, those kinds of things. There's a really great line from Colette Dowling in her book, The Frailty Myth, that girls were expected to knit the socks and the boys were out skating in them. These things have been with us all this time, and we're finally shaking loose for most of it. There's still a little bit of it hanging on. So when you have that idea that women shouldn't sweat, or that, you should go to yoga or aqua fitness because you won't sweat in those classes, which, by the way, isn't actually true. You do sweat in aqua fit. You're just in the pool, so you don't notice it. And depending on what yoga class you go to, if you come to mine, you're going to do some sweating anyway. So that's off the table. But if you get that idea, if you get that feeling, oh, I shouldn't sweat, it's not ladylike, it's not appropriate, it's gross if I sweat, all of those things. No, it's not. Get rid of that. work on that the idea, get yourself past that somehow, because it's only keeping you back, and it's only truncating what you can do to improve your health and your well-being and improving your sleep and all the other great things that exercise does for us when we do it regularly. You can shower after a workout. Soap is cheap. Go ahead. Sweat all you want. It's not a permanent state. You can change it afterwards. You're fine. Go ahead and sweat. And anybody tells you that it's not appropriate for girls to sweat, tell them, goodbye, dinosaur. I don't need to talk to you anymore. And as I always say, lift heavy, lift often, increase your intensity, fight the patriarchy, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye.